Becoming the Product. My name is Naya, your host as always, and today I'll be talking about how I use Notion to run 3 hustles. These hustles, I just put the word hustles, but it's literally how I use Notion to manage my portfolio career. If you're new to this episode, if you're new to listening to me, I've spoken about how I'm trying to build a portfolio career, and in the past episodes, you can have a listen just to catch up. But people usually ask me that, Naya, how do you do it all? Like, I have some of my friends, some of my colleagues are like, Naya, how do you come to work? How do you do your podcast? How do you manage it all? My podcast, my incubation work, everything without a team. Literally, I'm doing it all by myself. My simple answer is Notion is my COO. In this episode, I am giving you a behind the scenes walkthrough of how I use Notion to manage my entire life. From my 2025 goals to podcast operations to content planning. It is not complicated, but it is powerful, really. So before I got serious about Notion, my life was all over the place. I was either using notes on my system on my MacBook or Google Docs. I was just creating docs upon docs upon docs. And the other time, if I'm not on Google Doc, it's literally paper and biro in my hand. And it just felt like it was everywhere. The sticky notes, the Google Docs, everywhere. The brain doc was everywhere. And sometimes I spend more time looking for these documents as opposed to executing it. Because I'm looking for the plans I've written down or the plans I've put in place, and I'm unable to execute the plan. So Notion kind of changed. I just felt like I needed somewhere where I could do everything, and I literally need everything. So I didn't just build a workspace. I usually call it a home base. And that home base is where I put all my portfolio work and my life. And I'm able to always go back there to check everything is working in place and put systems in place as well. So the first point, I'm going to break this down into a few points. At the top of everything, like from every year that I come in, especially for 2025, is what I call my 2025 dashboard. So I break my goals into 5 major parts. Me as a parent, me as a wife, my prayer life, me as a career person, and my person as myself. So it gives me a holistic plan, and I'm not just tracking career wins, I'm also tracking myself as a person. So in each category, I've broken down the goals, the links, the tasks that I need to achieve those goals. Like everything is put there. So for instance, under my person, so me as a person, my plan is to maybe eat healthy, do exercise, take care of me personally and all that. Under provider, for instance, is that okay, I need to do season 3 of my podcast this year. I need to do a different but for 2025, at the beginning of 2025, I was looking for a job, so that was on the list, sorry. So yeah, all these things really help put everything in perspective because you've written out everything in one particular place. And this is the foundation. Before I even think about content, about clients, about everything, I make sure I'm aligned with the bigger picture. Okay, what are the goals for this year? And just stick to it so that I don't get overwhelmed or put unnecessary pressure on myself. So if you've been wanting to set up a Notion system that goes beyond this task list, I have a few templates that I shared in my newsletter. If you subscribe, you get that free templates, or even for my mini courses, majority of the templates I used in my mini courses were from Notion. So if you are able to go in there, you have an access to all that. The links are in the show notes. Number 2, project management across hustles. So this is like my project management flow. So I have like a master task database where I filter each hustle. So my podcast has its own part, it has its own tag. My PMaaS has a tag, incubation has a tag, content has a tag. And for my podcast, for instance, Notion holds everything. So I have episode trackers, I have the scripts, I have the CTAs, I have the date it's supposed to go out, I have a part for assets. So everything is there. For PMaaS, I put all my thoughts in there, my plans, my strategy, everything is there. Like the roadmap, the idea stages, what I need to do to validate the timelines, everything is on Notion. For content, I plan everything. I have a content calendar there for LinkedIn, for all my platforms, everything is there. I also have an aspect for my newsletter. So in each of the compartments or containers, you have like the goals for that platform. You have the plans for the next 3 to 6 months, topics, what I want to do, scripts, everything I want to put in there is stated there. So everything lives in one place, but I use filtered views to keep each hustle clear and uncluttered. And the third one is Notion. When I first of all transitioned into product management, I did not know how to use Notion. Believe me, my using of Notion is literally 2 to 3 years old, and I've perfected it. And the only way I've been able to perfect the way I use it is because I used it for everything when I just started transitioning into product management. So that's one of my favorite hacks of using was when I wanted to find, I was looking for a website for my podcast initially, and I didn't know how to use the other tools. When I found that I could use Notion as a website, that was the favorite hack because I had to constantly use it, so I had to constantly learn how to use it. So my podcast episodes and blog is live on a Notion site, easy to update, zero dev stress. My newsletter templates, mini courses, resources, and even freebies are also housed in Notion, which means that anytime you download something, you're literally using it from my workspace, even though in some of them I converted it to Microsoft Word, but the original documents are in my Notion. So this turns Notion to a control center for everything I create and share. So some of my roadmaps you might get, like the free PM roadmap to plan your career, it's on my Notion as well. So when you pull that and you download it, it's literally pulling from my workspace. And it literally turns my Notion to both my backend and my frontend, if you think about it. So when I say Notion is my COO, I mean it. It holds my vision. I use it to plan my weeks. I also use it to plan my content, and it keeps all my hustles aligned. So if you've been juggling multiple things and want a system that actually supports you, Notion might be your missing piece. So I want you to check out my mini courses or templates to get started, and subscribe to my newsletter for more behind the scenes workflow. If you are curious about how I'm building PMaaS using this system, or you just want to understand how I use Notion, DM me on LinkedIn. Thank you guys so much for listening on this episode. I hope you learned a thing or two. Notion is not just my productivity tool, it's also my COO that keeps all my hustles, all the plans for my portfolio career in sync. So thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great week.